Natusanta, Nadia Katana, and Benessa. Imagine, you look here and you take a family, now independent. first body reading for the teaching for Pastor Paragraph, chapter 55, verses 6 to 9. Mother, body for first summer, it became a prayer. It is a deeper view. He is the only only. It is a nice thing to see after. And peace in the after. What is it in this? Now, I feel a deal of the supposed to be considered to be a power pass. I mean, supposed to be About this housekeeping is by several settings. If it is handed, all services self-serve. Those are important areas. The cure must to be. So we put it ask around the services. Can you find the people as they work there? And so you said, although we love you dearly, we could not make mistakes. The body not stop beating. The very small, but God broke our heart to preach to us. He only takes the best. The Lord Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Reynolds Kwadwo retired. Found his police career on Thursday, 1950. After a successful completion of his basic police training course, he graduated with the rank of Constable Class 3 on Thursday, 1950. He was further promoted to the rank of Corporal on Thursday, 1958. On Thursday, November 1961, he was again promoted to the rank of Inspector on 1st September 1953. By dint of hard work and dedication to duty, he was commissioned into the officer term of the service as an assistant to the Central Police and a then police college, then police academy. On 1st May 1966, he was further promoted as police. Deputy Superintendent of Police, 1st August 1969. Superintendent of Police, 1st January 1973. Chief Superintendent of Police, 1st March 1976. Assistant Commissioner of Police, 1st December 1978. The rank he held until his retirement from the service in 1983. Whilst in the service, he held various command positions, associations which include the following: Crime Officer, Field Headquarters, Accra; Crime Officer, Focus, Central Region; Crime Officer, Kumasi, Preventive Region; Field Headquarters, Accra. He never defeated the great love he had for the administration until he slept and woke no more. With a return ticket and we cannot prevent the departure at this moment. Suddenly, however, we looked up and the landscape had changed and the mountain was no longer there. The sun was still shining, but it was not giving the same degree of warmth to which we were accustomed. To face this sudden disaster, even though we know that age was beginning to fall on him, with the persistent questions and thoughts, we turn to the Bible which touches us. It is appointed unto man to die. As to the ache and the shock that overwhelmed and there was a simple faith and explanation for the kind of ache and shock that I feel. On behalf of the police administration, I wish to express our deepest and heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family and all sympathizers. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Thank you. father speaketh. We try to assign from the seat. Reynolds Kwadwo was the pet of his father, Opanyin Reynolds Kwadwo, who occupied the Texas tomb from 1949 to 1945. In 1963, one old paper was about to be published due to the flooding of the water. Reynolds Kwadwo's main preoccupation was to exhume his father's remains to be reburied at a safer place. Eventually, when he obtained the permit for this similar exercise, he could not identify the remains because so many sheets of paper had been returned in the same place. This was a sore point for him, and he never forgave himself. Another story that he shared with me was in the early 1930s. He had traveled with his father-in-law Opanyin II to a meeting of chiefs at the inn. He was just about 7 years old as he wandered away from the American who was responsible for his safety. He could not trace where his father crossed from to the western bank, so a search team was organized. With a certain distance, he heard the rendition of his father's chasing and quickly ran toward the rescuers. In conclusion, when you forget the rendition of your chief's voice, you get lost at the border. When you are at lost always, you remember the rendition of your chief's voice. When after the last time, you will hear the chasing of an airplane. One home, as your baby and all his children are welcoming you with open arms. Another, welcome you. The pastor of the Kwadwo, after you to see a woman of the man and 540%. It is a man yes, you know the campaign. You know, if you know the you know the translated the human education poetry 468. It is a human education. People may be able to the mental man, the necessity, the die another family, maybe the women. Okay. It is only a difficult task for loved ones to pay tribute to those leaders who are once families whose lives have been entrusted, not only the family but also the community at large. But especially find ourselves in this very predicament as we honor the memory of the most respected and committed Ebusian, the last of the titans, Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, whose passing we are all mourning today. Uncle Kwadwo, as we affectionately call him, subverted the old adage that a jack of all trades is a master of none. For he was a man of many trades, and he was a master of them all. Every task he pursued was characterized by focus, concentration, and a quiet, controlled passion. Uncle Kwadwo performed each task in this way. No matter how small it was, everything that he did with dedication, and he pushed himself to reach the very pinnacle in every endeavor. My uncle made the impossible, the difficult, and the complex seem achievable, easy, simple, and natural. Uncle Kwadwo lived a fulfilled life, and now he is gone at the ripe of age of 94. He offered us an opportunity to look at his life on earth and to learn some of the principles he held dear, and to use those principles to guide ourselves and to guide our relationships with one another. A great tree has fallen, but unlike the big trees that block the nurturing of rays of the sun and allow nothing to grow in their shade, Uncle Kwadwo enriched others and encouraged them to emulate his achievements and to live up to his height, seemingly attainable. Listeners, may he rest in peace, and may his soul find acceptance at the throne of grace. Ohiniba Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, Heavenly Father, from the children.
Daddy, you change our lives. There is not a day that goes by when we don't think about you, Daddy. All the time we shared together and all the fun we had. We love you. We miss you each and every day. You changed our lives. You left a hole no one can fill. Angels have taken you away, but we will hold on to the memory forever in our hearts. We will keep a little piece of you with us so we are truly never apart. Change our life.
We had just one last chance to talk with you again. Daddy was our mother. Daddy was our teacher. Daddy was our preacher. Daddy was our confidant. Daddy was our lover. No word is adequate to describe our relationship. Daddy, you changed our lives. Rest in peace.
Yebiti yang ada kecil esamon. Na episode ebien.
Our second Bible reading is taken from 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. Verses 13 to 18. One Bible can come from what to say the you don't know, because only can see him it becomes piano is a little possibility. When I see the essence. Now, I had a banana bit. When person look on it, you say, how can I do it? Now, if you do this, you say, you say, good. So, I'm sure. I could tell you, the banana. Now, you should see the kind of other. Now, you did. You know, be a silly. You catch them myself. You know, I had to be a silly, I can't see another banana. You tell me, as I said, the emphasize the symbol of the superiority. When I could point to them to this issue, listen. When I say no, I will see the sorrow. And some of us are the fire, I had to be a silly, Yerika, the woman who can say, you can see a rabbi in you. Nasa, Lion, a rabbi. Nasa, Lion, a rabbi better. If you never insulate it, and they ask me.
Your person at the Komako, Opanyin Reynolds Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, if you change on the line, the Brazilian Ghana, or the local action, South and Patrick Chile, the energy, making the only action. Now the change you can see, there you know the only doing the effect. na ho foforo na ɔtɔn bi na ɔnani gyeni bio yes ne papa so na de ani gyeni yi no gidi na ne pa gye sɛ na de gyeni na tete Wajimano ena asa anyejepa emra oso na daw mata eyede deye yame esa isie ade asa asan deye anachi yawo ina Sabri yebetie tribute. Asi grandchildren and in-laws. Grandchildren.
When we were younger, Grandpa used to visit us in the UK. Every morning, he would run 100 laps around the garden to keep fit. Something that came in quite handy when he would end up having to chase us around the dining table after doing something he did not like. Grandpa introduced us to the board game Ludo, taught us how to play, and treated us to a mini can of Coke when he thought we played well, even when we lost. To this day, Ludo remains our favorite game to play when we are all together. In 2004, after his terrible car accident, Grandpa came to live with us in London. Our mothers tried to explain to us that he might not remember who we were, but we were so young, so we did not really understand the extent of his memory loss until we saw him. We ran to hug him and greet him, only to be met with a blank response. Who are you? All the beautiful memories he had with us were lost. Slowly but surely, Grandpa formed new bonds with us all. He started off by calling us using our initials: P for Paula, S Stephanie, L for Lloyd, A for Annabelle, O for Olivia, and quickly progressed to our full names. He even ended up giving us a few nicknames, which was hilarious. He was always interested in what we were doing, where we are going, who we are meeting. He would always wish us well before we left the house. Even wished us the best of luck before any exams. At times, when the sun would go down and we were not yet home, he would sit in his chair by the window with his hat on, pens in his pocket, book in his hand, and wait for us to come home. He was always looking out for us. We were always so interested and fascinated about his life, being a father, raising our parents, and the life he had afterwards. Not that being a father ever ends. We would sit and ask him all sorts of questions throughout his day, not only to listen and get lost in his stories, but to try and unlock memories of his past. Questions about his time in the police force as a police high commissioner that he never let us forget. The nicknames his friend gave him, the football team he used to support, Olidade, his time at the university in the UK, and even questions about most loyal dog, Lidaf, and the story of his name. We would come away with many stories, and we loved it. We laughed so much with our grandpa. We sang with him, danced with him, clapped with him. At times, we would even sneak him something nice to eat, drink, and when we thought the mommies weren't watching, kwedu, ekutu, or tea with sugar and some bread. In 2012, even though we knew moving Grandpa back to Ghana would be best for him, it was hard for us. We were scared he would forget all the new memories we made together over his 8 year stay with us in London. When we came to visit him in Ghana, even though he did not recall our names, we felt like he still knew who we were. He recognized us as his grandchildren. We know this because no matter what, regardless of what he did forget. He always responded when we called him Grandpa, and that huge smile he had whenever he saw us always returned. On our last visit to see him in 2019, he kept saying to us, "I'm really feeling your feelings." We knew instantly he was still there. We all felt it. Grandpa was our friend, our Grams, our Popsy Ray. Grandpa, we love you and we will miss you so much. Rest in peace. Perfect peace.
Sabri yebesre ebusia na wongabe she akrano akatano so amaye. Ilono ha ana. Tribute to our father, for which cause we faint not, for through our outward man. But though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. 2 Corinthians 4:16-17. No manner of words can quench the depth of sorrow that comes with losing a wonderful father-in-law such as Mr. Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng. Michael and I mourn a great and loving father-in-law, a devoted grandfather to our children, a doting father to his girls. Yet we celebrate a life well lived and dedicated to service and family. And we comfort ourselves with the good memories of the times and moments that we were privileged to spend in his company. Mikwajo Miyamini Yesue Tumenkwanam. These were some of his favorites in Sabran, with which we greeted each other. He showed us such generosity of spirit, always cheerful, genial, and convivial to all who were privileged to be in his company. I first met Mr. Otchere-Koranteng when, as a young man, I gallantly knocked on his gates one evening in my endeavors to court his beautiful daughter, Margaret. I had a loud, booming shout from upstairs. "Who are you? Who is your father? What do you want?" As a classmate and a close friend of his daughter, Betsy, I had heard a little about Daddy to feel I knew him from afar. But that was not enough to prepare me for such a first impression. That would frighten any young man out of his wits. Yet he very quickly put me at ease with a warm, welcoming handshake. We settled down to a most friendly, fatherly conversation on all manner of interests, from education to tennis, to politics, to current affairs. The BBC news of the King's Cross fire was rife at the time, and he was deeply concerned about the likelihood of his daughters using that busy interchange. There I found him to be a very genial, kindred-spirited man with a great sense of humor, who spoke like my father and who I could call on as a father too, given that my own father had passed on to the Lord when I was barely 11 years old. He generously advised me to come and see him properly, that is, to do the needful customarily. And as they say, the rest is the unfolding familial history we have today of a very beholden son-in-law and 3 beautiful granddaughters
added to his kinsfolk. Michael recounts his first meeting Mr. Otchere-Koranteng on the occasion of his and Betty's wedding in London, where he was remarkably cheery and incredibly supportive of his joining the family. Kwadwo was a doting, loving grandpa to all our children. He had a nickname for every one of them. In the years when he was visiting or living with us in London, he was keenly interested in their education and their acquiring sound Presbyterian moral values of respect, honesty, purity, and good behavior. His conversations and interactions were always punctuated with wise counsel and hopeful encouragement. Kwadwo was particularly keen that things should be done at all times in the appropriate manner, with a rigorous regard for propriety and customs and respect always. We shared a love for books and scholarship. We all adopted his scholarly, gentlemanly habits. He always had a dictionary or thesaurus next to him to look up an unfamiliar word. Always had a pen in his front pocket to write down some piece of information of interest. And for that reason, he would never wear a shirt without a front pocket. He always carried a handkerchief in his back pocket. Indeed, always a proper officer and a gentleman. I recall his adept display of DIY skills when he helped us reduce draft coming from the doors and windows of our new house. A stickler for precision, he would take particular care and arrange spines of books on a bookshelf in such precise alignment of sizes and heights, or hang a framed photo on a wall with such punctilious accuracy and measurement. It was so amazing. As a matter of fact, we would fail to do him justice if we did not mention his passionate love for bananas, his love of music and his penchant for breaking into a dance on hearing his favorite tunes. Then he would invite all around him to join in singing, "Me Kwadwo, Miamini, Me Kwadwo, Miamini." The old boy, had some good moves. My sister, Sisi Magi, recounts that Kwadwo taught her ballroom dancing during her early years in the Ghana Army. Indeed, Mr. Otchere-Koranteng had an effusive zest for life, easily became a friend to all our friends who came around the house. Living with us in later years with Alzheimer's, we found it extremely difficult to accept. It certainly did not define the personality we knew you to be. Sometimes the happiest moments were the saddest. Kwadwo, you bore your illness with abundance of grace and bravery. The seeds that you sowed with love and hope will never die. The situation became a great source of inspiration for Olivia, your last granddaughter. So much so that in desiring to see you totally healed and well, she chose to study neuroscience at university and is now pursuing a career at the cutting edge of neuroscientific research into Alzheimer's at University College London. You certainly passed on your generous spirit and strong values to all your grandchildren. Annabelle has your contagious zest for life and a stickler for detail, organization, and management. She locks every door twice before bed. Stephanie is an amphora of creativity, artistry, wisdom, and insight, applied in communication and journalism. Paula is an epitome of warmth, care, hospitality, and geniality applied in early years education. Lloyd has picked up your sense of duty, fun, your practical insights, and applies them in computer technology. We hereby pay tribute to Ohenewa, Betsy, Michael, Mark, and all the family for their devotion and care your situation engendered, which will serve as a great example to all the grandchildren in the family throughout their lives. Yesterday, Tumin Kwanem was actually your daily prayer for long life. And indeed, the good Lord granted you 94 gracious years. You fought a good fight. You finished the race. You kept the faith. Finally, there waits for you a crown of righteousness, which the righteous judge of all would give to you now. We beseech the Lord our Heavenly Father to grant you a well-earned eternal rest. We bid you farewell for now, but know that you will always remain in our hearts. Go forth and claim the far more exceeding weight of glory that awaits you. Rest in peace in the arms of God, the Father of all. Amen.
Yadasi, Pacha Kosiara Yade Osuma, Ataso Edwin Etiasi. Yemu biara entiase emaya ho. Na obiara ewu emana ho. Na se yetiase a, yetiase mewrade. Se ewu nso a, ewu mewrade. Enti se yetiase o, yewu eye ewrade dia. Ye nyina de komakoro etoso ahanum ene duwotwe 518. Beso mensa jijeme, majen kwapa. O maasitere mu nei ne dan nyina me pese betena wonchen mere nya woda ne awode me beko ho no me pe ara ebra ye gina ho Dasa Uguto, the Council to Sima, Mahanawo. I ate the Somensa, the Mahianka, the Minusova, Matrahoda.
Mercy and tears abom pai. Don't for me, Raddy, you should say, Raddy, I say. Pepper saw the Anabati, honor your Ashasi and a Yenyame. You saw the Ashasi, you saw the baby, it's your faster than a man. On our shares of January, and I will see April. Almost so Erica, you faster than a man. On a sample about the baby Adanasi. To another Jimadi, Eshanesa. Sir, I'm not some gain any payer, and my another Jimadi. Obedi hene wo ne da dwumadi so na se yewie de aseda enikabea amane din so tu wo ho ahye ne nsa se onkoso ma wo ho den na fa wie dwumadi ne bi bra wo ne fi apompa onye obambofo onye wo frikafo onye okwanchirefo na wo da irade ase se wati on paibo pamchawo ye bon pai irade nyankopon a wote ase da yes, Raja, what do you now? Do to Inchada. Well, my Usumpo down an opahan. Baboyan, my Fanidi near Hobras in Cham. Young I home come ye. My young Emra, near ma, at Trahoda no so. Naya Nablasato, near Rachachia. Was some of them my young no so. And then it does so. Obeje young, afi soon ne amanimu, the young Abba, when him hang ne asu jenimu, young Eradi Yesu Christo ti. Amen. Yakosara de Kumakoro atu yenyoma, atoso, a high song and a dear song. Yeni Paman Jahakra, Yasoro Kose Susuma, Yesu Sumarawara. Yehu ne se adere ya asa echichema nan a edikan eni achi yebiti biography change in our sorrow,
Nengetie yan papa yan dofo Reynolds Otchere-Koranteng asetene masem.
Onono, Belma Reynolds Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng Agona Kosubentre Nana Dinchireni Ekwa Osia Nengun Frama Chichere Kwa Chiroba Chiribema Onam Belma Nam Orekwa Dikamfo Belma Ufi Ekropong Kwakwediam Esuno Dime Ufurim Kweja Nedu Adawrenti Adantia Domnum Ademri Fedio Bema Demrifa Bema Otchere-Koranteng Ufi Buri Nkunkri Nkrana Nansa Awe Jaba Kwadwo Mensa Nananum Ufi Ejanwa Wate Bema Edoma Demrifa Due Ukuyapema Nane Franketia Obua Otusia being a domino Demrifa Otobua Jankosi Aquatio Tiatusu and a Buri domino was a gomu bre. Bema Adana ko Ankra Anki a crow. Bema Adana ko Ankra Anki a menao a decamfo. Bema Otchere-Koranteng Nana nomini nyasi okwanso kwese womanu se ade akya wodase ene mura bebre a wode bo awom ohene wanom eya bayare Otcherewa Kofi Koranteng nom wose udi asioja bo nwa bodin na brang womema so watu bema Una wa enyankom pese chiri ne kwa chedi bofo. Unipa owe so Otchere-Koranteng nemu. Wesa bebrese nemu. Bebrese mnindie. Berima Otchere-Koranteng. Unya bunti ankama. Unya dasi ankama. Unya mpemple yadom. Ege. Obrempong nanti bre.
Monica Sakura. Biography of late Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng. Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng was born in
our so near in Sanwem on March 25th, 1927. His father was Nana Osai Nyampong II, alias Opanyin Otchere, right-wing chief of Akwemu, and one time acting Odikro of Nsawam and paramount chief of the Kamenes. His mother hailed from Ekropong Ekriapem, the seat of the southern Akan tribe, specialized in tribal philosophy and practice. His mother of the Tutubrempong stool of Ekropong was the daughter of Princess Yayirin Chua, the third child of Chief Kwame Teria, paramount chief of Ekriapem, and cousin of Chief Oferikuma. Kwadwo-Koranteng Otchere, as he was originally named, began his junior school in Ekropong. After 6 years, matriculated to the Presbyterian Boys' School, Salem, for 4 years. His love for extracurricular activities led him to begin teaching on a part-time basis, primarily for the money and later as a career. During his teaching tenure, he stumbled on the opportunity to extend his leadership abilities at the police depot, where he eventually was recruited to join the ranks of the finest instructors who delivered impeccable training to the newly recruited officers. He taught a course in etiquette and was an instructor for dancing styles, particularly ballroom and waltz dancing. In the winter of 1968, he left Ghana to further his education in criminal investigation in Japan. He came back as a junior officer with honors and soon after received promotion to become a CID officer. Kwadwo was not content. Because of his hard work and commitment to excellence, he was invited to join a team of officers selected on a special training course in London, UK. While on the training assignment, he was admitted to the Police Academy at Scotland Yard. In 1974, he represented Ghana as a CID specialist in an Interpol-sponsored course at Georgetown University, Hoyas, if you're a fan, in Washington, D.C. Here he received many awards. The dearest to him was the Sharpshooter Award. Kwadwo-Koranteng was a sniper. Good thing he never had to use it. Kwadwo-Koranteng traveled the world, evolving into a world-class statesman with impeccable taste. He was meticulous in everything he did, always striving for perfection. As a perfectionist, he believed that advancement in life stemmed from awareness, education, and continuously exploring the unknown. He sought to increase his depth of knowledge at every opportunity. He found his love in Elizabeth Kwakwa in the 50s, and they tied the knot and were blessed with Mama Abayari Otchere and myself, yours truly. Kwadwo-Koranteng's eldest daughter, Mary Ohenewa Koranteng, whose mother, Mary Na Ayoko Thompson, is of blessed memory, cared for her daddy to the end. Kwadwo and his entire family will always be thankful for her heartfelt devotion. Daddy to the end, Kwadwo and his entire family will always be thankful for her heartfelt devotion. Daddy had a clear sense of identity and family origin and took great pride in his cultural roots. When speaking of being from Opanyin Kwadwo's house, or Boasito house, or being the younger brother of the late Dr. Adwoche, the first medical doctor from Ekropong, neighbors knew the family he was describing. He was proud of his heritage as a son of his immediate family, as well as the expanded family of Ghanaians. He treasured our culture, the beauty of the land, and Ghana's quest to be free and an independent nation. His treasure chest of life was filled with the jewels of love. Parents, siblings, partners in love, children and grandchildren are the diamonds he holds dear as he departs this earth. He leaves behind a treasure of inspiration to those who remain after his departure. For the generations that will continue the lineage of Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, born in 1927, they will carry in them his mind that searched for knowledge, his spirit which cherished freedom, along with his heart which embraced love. He lived a full life, guided by his beliefs, inspirations, dreams, and knowledge. And we mark his physical passing from this earth. Let us behold in our hearts all that Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng taught us in life. Throughout his life, he has worn many hats: as a son, as a grandson, as a brother, as a cousin, as a lover, as a husband, everything. He was an expert police officer, official, among many others. He performed each role to perfection. As Daddy leaves this earth today, let us honor, cherish, and be guided by the love, spirit, and thirst for knowledge which inspired him through his life. Opanyin Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, Daddy, grandfather, friend, relative, and citizen, your work on earth is done. Thank you for being part of our life. May you rest in the peace of the afterlife and explore the universal truths that are hidden from us on earth. Thank you, big man. Thank you. Rest in peace.
Tribute by Christ Church, Ekropong.
Tribute to the memory of the late Presbyter Reynolds Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng by Christ Church, Ekropong. When peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well. It is well with my soul. Horatio Bass, Stratford, 1873. In paying tribute to the memory of the late Presbyter Opanyin Otchere-Koranteng, Christ Church considers the above words as appropriate. Alas, the cold, icy hands of death have struck, and this time it is on our own presbyter. Indeed, a great tree has fallen. What else can be said about the demise of our dear brother, Father, Presbyter Opanyin Reynolds Kwadwo Otchere-Koranteng, Assistant Commissioner of Police, retired. No amount of words can convey the individual or collective sentiments of the church. The reality is that it is the Lord who gave him to us, who has taken him back. Therefore, join us to give thanks and praise to all-knowing God. Opanyin Otchere-Koranteng never abandoned his roots and continued to worship at Christ Church whilst working in Accra. When there was a by-election on 16th January 1983, he was among those nominated by the church. During the election conducted by the district minister, Presbytery chairperson, Reverend M.A. Ado, Mr. Otchere-Koranteng, Mr. N.O. Newman, Mr. J.S. Akuno, Mr. Bekwinto, and Madam Comfort Esiedu Yirinchi were elected. On 13 February 1983, the elected presbyters were inducted into office by Reverend M.A. Ado, the district minister / Presbytery chairperson. That was the time when we didn't have a separate minister as district minister and then another as Presbytery chairperson, as we have it now. So when I read it that way, consider it. On to the 4th to June 1984, the results of elections conducted on 3rd June 1984 were published. Presbyter Otchere-Koranteng became an automatic member of the session for 1984 to 1988. Presbyter Otchere-Koranteng was mainly assigned to committees related to conflict resolution, peacemaking, and security. During the 150th anniversary celebration of Christ Church, he served as convener for publicity committee and helped in a number of ways. Opanyin Otchere-Koranteng was gentle, strict, and principled, but fair and level-headed. He despised what was evil and loved good and constructive ideas. He gladly opened his heart, mind, and doors to everybody, young and old. We bid him farewell in the hymn, when the day of toil is done, when the race of life is run, Father, grant thy wearied one rest forevermore. John Ellerton, 1826 to 93. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
Yamiasun Kamunina and net day young Aretici Sema Wapawamayan and net day Ibihunwo Thessalonica 4 who made the can Tianang Jitimidumiensa copying Dum Watry. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 verse 13 to 18. Umayinti Eradi Asem. Na enuanom wɔn a wɔadeda no de mempɛ sɛ mekura mo so. Na mo yura ho sɛ wɔn a aka wɔ ni anidaso no. Na sɛ yɛgye di sɛ Yesu wi na wasɔre bio a saa ara nso na Onyankopɔn de wɔn a wɔn a adeda no nam Yesu so bɛka ne ho aba. Na eyi de yɛnam Awurade asɛm mu na yɛka kyerɛ mo sɛ yɛn a yɛtete ase na yɛreka akosi sɛ Awurade ba mu no rentwa wɔn a wɔadeda no ho. Ɛfiri sɛ Awurade ankasa de osebɔ ɔbɔfopanyin ne Onyankopɔn torobɛnto fi soro besian. Na Kristo mu awufo bɛsɔre kan ansa na waba abɛfa yɛn a yɛtete ase na yɛaka yi ne wɔn nyinaa ɛmununkum mu sɛ yɛnkɔhyia Awurade ewim. Na saa na yɛne Awurade bɛtena daa. Enti momfa nsɛm yi nkyekyekye mo ho werɛ. Awurade asɛm ni.
Nyame adehye adi brɛ ba beti yɛn awerɛkyekye asɛm. Nyame asɛm. Ansa na no yɛn nyinaa de komakoro bɛto yɛn nnwom a ɛto so 791. Nkyekyɛmu abiesa a ɛdi kan no ɔhɔho ne manfrani na meyɛ wɔ fam ha. Baasase mmɛn ha baabi menni fipa wɔ ha. Ɔhaw ɔbrɛ amane na yɛde tu ha kwan. Nyame bɛma hɔ mesan ɛberɛ a yɛgyina hɔ. Bebree abusu kan onyame adifo ne man mpanyifo bo asetɔ ne gidi na wɔde tu wɔn kwan na wɔn akyi na medi